Okay, good morning, guys. This is the Pythagorean Theorem lesson 1. Your guiding question is, what is Pythagorean Theorem and how does it work? The objective is to explore Pythagorean Theorem and discover how it works. We're going to work on some word problems with this lesson. And hopefully you did the square root lesson, or at least look through it so you can understand what a square root is, because you're going to need it for this. Your do now is to write, if a right triangle has the height of 4 inches and a base of 3 inches, what is the diagonal length that connects the height and the base? Construct the triangle with a ruler on the back of this paper to find out. So I did that here. And as you can see, we've got a height of 4 inches, a base of 3 inches. And then if I go ahead and measure this right here, the diagonal that connects the height and the base, it's about 5 inches. Okay? All right, so that's magic, right? Well, your question number 1 is to figure out how to do that mathematically. We know it's 5 inches. So we've got a height of 4 inches, a base of 3 inches, and the diagonal equals 5 inches. So we have to figure out how to do this, how to figure out this portion using the 4 and the 3 mathematically, not just drawing it out on a piece of paper and measuring. There's actually some things you can do in an equation to figure that answer out. So if you look at it, 4 plus 3 does not equal 5. 4 times 3 does not equal 5. So how are we going to relate these two numbers to make it this? Well, if you think about what we did in the square root lesson where you were squaring numbers, let's use that trick to see if that can help at all. So I'm going to do 4 squared and 3 squared and 5 squared and see if there's any relationship between these three numbers. So 4 squared is 16, 3 squared is 9, and 5 squared is 25. Do you see a relationship between 16, 9, and 25? Oh my goodness, look at that. 16 plus 9 equals 25. So we now have 4 squared plus 3 squared equals 5 squared. So the Pythagorean theorem is, if you take those numbers and you put letters there, it will work every time. So I'm going to make this height be A, so A squared. I'm going to make the base be B squared, and I'm going to have that diagonal be C. So your Pythagorean theorem is A squared plus B squared equals C squared. So then we've got question number 2. Michelle takes a piece of paper and cuts from one corner to the opposite corner, making 2 triangles. If the piece of paper is 8 inches long, that's the height, and 15 inches wide, which is the base, how long is the diagonal cut that Michelle made? So here's my piece of paper that is 8 inches long and 15 inches wide. I'm going to make that cut right there. So now I have a right triangle. So we need to figure out how long is this diagonal here. So let's use this same equation up here to figure that out. Having the height be A, the base be B. So now we've got 8 squared plus 15 squared equals C squared. So 8 squared is 65. 15 squared, what is that? 225 equals C squared. So 64 plus 225 equals 289 equals C squared. Now, this is where your square root work comes into place. What times what equals 289? So you're trying to figure out what C is, right? You want to get rid of this squared. So the square root of 289 equals C. So what is the square root of 289? 17 equals C. There you go. All right, this last one, now what you're gonna have is the height and the diagonal, but you don't have the base. It says Vince takes a piece of plywood that is 12 inches long and uses a table saw to cut a 20-inch cut from corner to opposite corner. What is the width of the piece of plywood? So I'm going to use the same formula that we came up with, the Pythagorean theorem, to figure out what the base is. So this is A, this is B, this is C. So 12 squared plus B squared equals 20 squared. So 12 squared is 144 plus B squared, 20 squared is 400. All right, so now I've got to get rid of this 144 so I can get B squared all by itself on one side of the equal sign. So I'm going to subtract it from each side using our algebra. 0 plus B squared equals 256. Now again, B squared. So B times B equals 256. So we have to figure out what B is. So we're going to find the square root. So B equals the square root of 256. And the square root of 256 equals 16. I hope that was clear enough. If you have any confusion on how to find the square roots or how to use Pythagorean theorem, take a look at another YouTube video or do your best to figure this out. I'm going to post this up or post the next lesson pretty much right after this. Bye.